What I'm about to reveal will fundamentally change how you see every man who enters your life. Carl Jung discovered something about human psychology that most people will never understand, and by the end of this, you'll possess knowledge that could save you years of heartbreak. But here's what's terrifying: 97% of women ignore these warning signs completely. Jung spent decades studying the human psyche, and he identified patterns of behavior that reveal someone's true character within minutes of meeting them. Today, I'm going to share 5 specific phrases that, according to Jung's research on shadow psychology, expose a man's hidden intentions so clearly that ignoring them is like ignoring smoke while your house burns down. Stay until the very end, because the 5th phrase is so psychologically devastating that even therapists miss it, and it's probably happening to you right now. Carl Jung said that every person has a shadow self, the parts of their personality they hide from the world. But here's what Jung discovered that changes everything. Certain people don't just hide their shadow, they weaponize it against others through specific language patterns. According to Jung's theory of psychological manipulation, when someone speaks to you, they're not just communicating words. They're projecting their internal psychological state directly onto your subconscious mind. This is why certain conversations leave you feeling drained, confused, or questioning your own reality. And here's the part that will shock you. Jung found that emotional predators use 5 specific phrases to test whether you'll abandon your authentic self to accommodate their psychological needs. Phrase 1. You're too sensitive. Carl Jung discovered that when someone dismisses your emotional responses, they're actually revealing their own psychological inadequacy. Jung called this projection. They're projecting their inability to handle emotional depth onto you. But here's what Jung found that will change everything. A psychologically healthy person doesn't dismiss emotions. They get curious about them. When a man tells you you're too sensitive or overreacting, Jung's research shows he's testing whether you'll disconnect from your intuitive knowing to make him feel comfortable. According to Jung, your emotional intelligence is your greatest protection against psychological manipulation. And the terrifying truth? Jung documented how this phrase systematically destroys a woman's connection to her inner wisdom over time. Phrase 2, I'm just being honest. This is where Jung's work gets truly disturbing. He discovered that people who use honesty as a weapon are exhibiting what he called malignant narcissism. They derive psychological satisfaction from causing pain while making you feel grateful for the abuse. Carl Jung said that authentic honesty comes from love, not from a desire to dominate. When someone hurts you deliberately and then hides behind honesty, Jung's research reveals they lack what he termed psychological empathy. Here's what Jung discovered that therapists don't want you to know. People who consistently use cruelty, disguised as honesty, are incapable of genuine intimacy because they view relationships as power dynamics rather than emotional connections. Phrase 3, you're being controlling. Jung's most groundbreaking discovery was about boundaries. He found that psychologically healthy people welcome boundaries because boundaries create what he called psychological safety, the foundation for authentic intimacy. According to Jung, when someone labels your reasonable requests as controlling, they're revealing something catastrophic about their character. They view your needs as obstacles to their convenience rather than important information about how to love you. But here's Jung's most shocking finding. Men who resist your boundaries are the same men who will exploit you if you don't have them. Jung documented this pattern extensively in his work on psychological predators. Carl Jung discovered that boundaries aren't limitations. They're the framework that allows trust and intimacy to flourish. The men who call you controlling for having standards are showing you that they want access to all of you while giving you the minimum in return. Phrase 4. I'm not ready for a relationship. This is where Jung's research becomes truly eye-opening. He identified a specific psychological pattern he called emotional compartmentalization, where someone gives you all the emotional intimacy of a committed relationship while explicitly telling you that's not what this is. Carl Jung said this creates what he termed psychological double bind. You're trapped in an impossible situation where staying means accepting being undervalued and leaving means feeling like you're throwing away potential. Here's Jung's most devastating insight. These men aren't confused about what they want. They know exactly what they want, to have you emotionally available without the psychological responsibility of actually choosing you. According to Jung, when a man truly wants to be with you, there's no confusion. Psychologically healthy people move with what Jung called intentional clarity when they recognize value. Phrase 5. You've changed. This is Jung's most important and dangerous discovery about psychological manipulation. And it's so subtle that 99% of women don't recognize it until years later when they're trying to rebuild their sense of self. Carl Jung discovered that personal growth is the most natural thing a human being can do. He called it individuation, the process of becoming who you're authentically meant to be. When someone criticizes your growth, Jung found they're revealing something catastrophic. They fell in love with your potential for serving their needs, not with your potential for becoming authentic. Here's Jung's most shocking revelation. People who want you to stop growing are threatened by your evolution because the version of you they preferred was smaller, more manageable, and less focused on your own expansion. According to Jung's research, unhealthy relationships, a person who truly loves you doesn't just accept your growth, they champion it. They understand that your evolution strengthens the connection because you're bringing more authenticity to the relationship. Carl Jung spent his entire career studying human psychology, and he discovered something that will change how you see relationships forever. The right person for you won't require you to sacrifice your authentic self to receive their love. Jung said that real love feels like coming home to yourself, not leaving yourself behind. Your boundaries aren't walls that keep love out, they're gates that let the right love in. Here's what Jung discovered that changes everything. Every time you honor your own psychological needs, you're teaching people how to treat you. Every time you walk away from someone who dismisses your authenticity, you're making space for someone who will celebrate it. The love you're seeking is seeking you too. But Jung found it can only recognize you when you're being fully yourself, not when you're pretending to be smaller for someone else's comfort. Trust Jung's wisdom. Choose yourself. Your future self will thank you for having the courage to honor what Jung called your authentic psychological nature, even when it means walking away from potential that was never really there. Thank you so much for staying with me through this exploration. If you found value in today's discussion, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who might benefit from it.